Hey, I have a question for you. Has anybody ever told you the things that you should be doing before you enter into a relationship? Yeah, I get it. Nobody ever shared these things with me either. And so if somebody actually did share something with you, then let me know down in the comment section below, because you can shout these people out, because not many of us got the tips, tools, or strategies in order to know how to show up in our romantic relationships. And so today we are going to talk about the 5 things that you should be doing before you enter into a relationship. So let's jump into them. The first thing that you should be doing before you enter a relationship is working on yourself. Now, a lot of people try to figure out what working on themselves actually means, and it's really determining and discovering the things that you like, the things that you don't like, the things that you love, and the things that you absolutely hate. So when someone comes to you and asks you that most important question of what is it that you like, or who are you, right? Now you have the opportunity, or I should say you should be able to explain these 4 things: like, love, right? Hate, just don't like. You should be able to explain some of these things in detail about yourself. This is what working on yourself means. And really, most people get it wrong when we say working on themselves. Working on yourself literally could be that discovery process that I just talked about. But working on yourself also could be taking the information that you learn, the complaint that an ex-partner told about you, or a friend or family member has shared with you, like, hey, you need to start working on X, Y, and Z. Instead of taking that critical information and just stepping on it or throwing it by the wayside because it's not important, you need to gather, unroll that balled up piece of paper, right? Unroll that balled up piece of paper and actually read it over and over and over again, and now start to work on that particular area. So say, for instance, the complaint is you argue all the time, you like drama or something like that. Now, whenever an argument, a potential argument comes your way, you have to really think, do I want to participate in this argument? Or do I want to be and show up differently now? And so now you're making a choice on the thing that you want to do. So working on yourself is not just one thing. It's also not a thing that is going to happen overnight. It is day in and day out with the choices that you make day in and day out, time and time again. So now once you continue to practice to be better, all of a sudden your reputation will be, she is a beautiful person. She has a beautiful soul. She can articulate the things. She smiles more, blah, 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 right? But the things will be more positive about you than they were previous. So working on yourself is a multitude of things in a multitude of areas. And it's not just one thing at one time. And then once you work through that thing, there's nothing else to work on. Each of us, including me, have areas that we can tighten up on and be better in. So working on yourself is one of the main things that you need to do before you get into your next relationship. The second thing that nobody ever told me was important before I get into a relationship is all of your childhood traumas. If you have not resolved them yet, then you should be actively working on them / through them. And this one usually takes a professional, like a counselor or a therapist or somebody that has some license to be able to take you down the road of pulling all of that junk, that childhood stuff that maybe you have kept way down here and you never dealt with it. And what you're not realizing is that as soon as you get into this next relationship, that childhood stuff that you suppressed all this time is going to come right back up. Those things that you thought you were over, your partner is now going to trigger you, and you are either going to fight, you're going to flight, or you're going to freeze, right? So there's different things and things that come up, which is why you need to work with somebody that has a license to get you through these things. Now, let's be very clear about that. Most people need to go down the road of a therapist or a counselor or a trusted person, somebody that can draw all this stuff out and point out, here's why you're doing X, Y, and Z, and here's how you fix X, Y, and Z, right? So just really getting deep down into the dirty of your childhood traumas. And each of us have experienced our childhood traumas. My own childhood trauma was my beautiful dark skin that I now own when I didn't own it before. I was called every nasty thing that you can think in the book. when you are a person of a darker complexion? Was I burnt in the oven? Why am I so much darker than my siblings? Why do I just all of the ugly stuff that you can think of? I've heard it, dealt with it, and it gave me a complex. And so until I worked through my own childhood trauma, right? I wouldn't have been able to tell you today that I have beautiful chocolate skin because I wouldn't be able to own it. I can own it. It's mine. And I wouldn't change it for the world. And to be quite frank, those experiences that I experienced as a child, being teased, being name called, and all this other stuff, it wouldn't have made me the woman that I am today had I not gone through those experiences, as well as had I not now owned who I actually am with this beautiful skin that I carry around day in and day out. And you have to be the same way with your childhood traumas. Your traumas are making you, or have made you, the person that you are today. Now it's, what are you going to do with those childhood traumas now? What are you going to do with them? How will you actually be able to win from your mess? And I've actually heard Lisa Nichols put it this way: turn your mess into a message. And so that's my question to you. How are you going to turn your mess into a message that's going to help even more people? And again, this could just be your child or children. You could be the inspiration that they need in order to catapult their life to the next level. It could be a family member. It could be a complete stranger who is getting on YouTube to tell you their story, that now you can actually own your stuff and show up the way that you need to actually show up, so you can help the people that you are destined to help out. The third area that you need to be working on before you jump into your next relationship is your stress and how you manage your stress. So are you a person that punches walls? Are you a person that punches people? Like, how do you handle your stress? Do you look the person in the face and just walk out the door, not even saying bye, giving them the anxiety that it's over or that you're leaving them? How do you handle your stress? And understanding the way that you do currently handle your stress. Is it conducive to your lifestyle? Will it be conducive to you being in a relationship? Or is this an area that you need to work on before you get into your next relationship? Again, think about the complaints that your ex or exes have told you in the past, as well as friends and family, because a lot of times we throw their comments to the side, but those are the people that we show up the most for. And what I mean by that is, we don't wear our mask around our friends and our family, so they really get to see the people that we truly are. Sometimes when we're in a romantic relationship, especially if we have and are dealing with a lot of these stressors or anxieties in our life, we have a tendency to, a wall comes up, and that real person that your friends and family members can actually see, your spouse does not get a chance to see that. Now, is this everybody across the board? Absolutely not. However, think about how you manage your stress. What were some of the complaints that your ex told you about? Like literally getting up and then they don't hear from you for days on end. Or just automatically blowing up and cursing everybody out because you are having this issue. And instead of you being able to handle this thing internally, or going to speak to somebody that's going to help you to get out of this rut, now you're taking it out on everybody. Hey sis, sorry to interrupt, but while we're on the subject of you trying to figure out what you should be doing before you enter the next relationship, I created a special PDF talking about the 5 secrets that are stopping every Black woman from creating their own extraordinary relationship. The link is down in the description box below. Go ahead and click on the link so you can download your PDF today. Now, back to it. The fourth thing that you need to be doing before you jump into your next relationship is understanding yourself on a deeper level, not the surface level. Anybody can show up in a relationship and be surface level for a period of time, but at some point your mask is going to come off. And so who do you want people to become attracted to? Not the mask person. Are you able to stand and own who you are today? Or do you find yourself really kind of becoming somebody else in order to be accepted and for others to like you? The real question is, do you like you? Do you like you? Can you be in the room by yourself for minutes and hours on end? Do you always have to be scrolling Do you always have to be doing something? Are you running away from yourself? And this is what a lot of people do. They don't know themselves on a deeper level because they never take the time to sit and to think and allow all of the things that are going to come up, the things that are going to scare them. They run away from them instead of leaning into them and really owning what is happening and questioning why this thing is giving me this stress. Why is this thing giving me this anxiety? Why is this thing causing me so much pain even? Why can I do or get over this thing? Instead of asking themselves the tougher questions, they find other things to do day in and day out. And then they wonder why they can never create this actual bond with somebody else that is deeper. But sis, can I tell you? It's because you don't even have a deeper relationship with numero uno, yourself. So you have to get a handle on for skipping the surface level, especially if this is your comfort zone. And it's because you think that you are actually protecting your heart. But sis, can I be honest with you? You're not. You are actually repelling the very thing that you want. The relationship that you want, the love that you want, the time that you want to be chosen like you want to be chosen. It's never going to happen if you don't learn who you are, why you are you. Who helped you become you? Who treated you bad that made you become you today? Like really understanding why you are you, because all of us have put some fuel to the fire, because I should say all of us have received some fuel on our fire by someone else, because they were really trying to make us feel bad about ourselves, or they told us that we can do X, Y, and Z. And so who are you proving points for now? Get down to the root of why you are you. And that's how you skip past the surface level, because the surface level is not going to keep you attracted or attached to anyone. The very thing that you may be fearing, which is the relationship is going to end, or a breakup is going to happen, or even a divorce. Some people don't get it right before they get married. I'm begging you to get it right before you get into your next relationship. So then you can clearly see if the person is going to be for you, instead of scared that the other person is going to leave you. And then you start doing things unbeknownst to you that actually does exactly what you don't want to happen, which is at some point the breakup is going to happen, or the divorce is going to occur, because you don't realize that somewhere subconscious you are sabotaging your own relationship. The fifth thing that you should be doing before you get into your next relationship is owning the part that you played in the downfall of your previous relationships. A lot of people don't own this part. A lot of people do this. Everybody can point the finger. It's easy. It's harder for you to actually look yourself in the mirror and take ownership for the part that you played. So the part that I played, me personally, in my own divorce, was the choice that I made in a mate. Because just like we talked about when I first opened this up, nobody ever talked to me about how to be in a relationship, let alone how to choose a mate, and why it's important for me to start working on me. So I had to figure all that stuff out. So the choice that I made in the mate that I made was part of the downfall of my marriage. There was other things, but I ain't gonna give you my whole laundry list either, right? Just know that I've done my own work, and now it's time for you to do your own work. That's the only way you're going to be able to get to the next level in your life. That's the only way that you're going to start attracting a better mate. That's the only way that if you are in your marriage, that it's going to thrive. That literally you'll be able to live those words that we say when we get married, which is to death, till death do you part. You can't do that if you don't do your own work. You can't do that if you don't own the part that you played in your previous relationships, because guess what? They're going to show up time and time again, and you're going to be wondering why. And a lot of that is because not many of us take the time to do the work that needs to be done, which is the inner work. The inner work has to be done before anything about the outer comes into fruition, at least in a great way, in a way that you can be proud of. It just isn't going to happen. And since you made it this far, I'm really happy to share with you a bonus. The bonus that you need to be working on before you get into your next relationship is your communication. I know that you've heard this cliche time and time again that communication is key, but it really is key. And if you suck at being a good communicator in everyday life, then just imagine how that compounds when you get into a romantic relationship. If you know that this is an area of weakness, it's okay. Because the first step to changing something is that you have to be aware of it. If you are aware that you are a weak communicator, know that it's okay. But now, what are you willing to do in order to become a better communicator? That could be something very simple, day in and day out. I'm going to ask better questions. I'm going to listen more. I'm going to just be in the room and actually become a learner all the time. I'm going to read more books. I'm going to listen to more podcasts. What are you willing to do in order to become better in all areas of your life? And now that you know what you should be doing before you get into your next relationship, check out this video right here because it's going to help you to understand why you must start working on yourself before you get into your next relationship. I'll see you over there.